everyone, Ms.R here with my friends, Crystal and Mr. Assiamah, and it's our episode number 7 for this school year. And so as we normally do, hopefully the week's been good for you, but we do a check-in to see how the week's been for each of us. So how's the week been, my friends?
For me, the week has been good. Super. I mean, we're here for another Friday, our 7th Friday, which means the time is moving. Things have been good, of course. There's a lot of concern and stress in the community just with the rise in COVID cases, but I'm safe and I'm happy.
Good. How about you, Crystal?
Good. I made it through another week. Every Friday I come home. My kids always say, yay, we made it through another successful week, which is always good. I appreciate it. We were really busy today. We had like the mentors things with the grade 9s, which was really nice. It was nice to just kind of see students. It felt very like school again. Like it felt like normal school, which was so nice to have. Running around, busy, sweating, setting up, getting all this. It was nice. It was nice to feel like things were, even for a brief moment, normal again.
Yes, I've got to say the week was good, having that on Tuesday for cohort A, grade 9s, and then yesterday for the grade 9s in cohort B. And last night was our Carve and Cackle council put on. I don't want to brag. I did 2 pumpkins and one of them won. And then Mrs. Miller, as I was announcing it over the PA, said, well, this was after, she goes, there were only 5 in that category. I'm like, I don't care.
You know what? I saw the pumpkins because I went online. I didn't come in. It was raining. It was cold. My kids were like, I don't want to go. So we were like, all right, fine. But I got an email from the principal and he said, go online and vote. So I got to see all of them and I still got to participate even though I wasn't there. So
yeah, it was fantastic. And, God bless the kids. There, I didn't count, but I'm going to guess there were about 10 to 13, 10 to 14 of them. And they were there. It was cold. It was rainy, but they were there accepting the food donations and just, the rah. It was great.
It was.
So it felt like high school this week. It was nice.
It did.
Okay, so the question that we're going to attempt or discuss today is this question. How do you handle all the stress that comes with life? How do you handle all the stress that comes with life? So, you might want to grab a paper and pen, take some notes, because I know there's going to be a lot of good wisdom coming through this conversation. So, to you guys.
Wow. I think that's a big question because, at each stage of life, you are forced to experience new things. For me, when I look at how I even experience life in elementary school to high school and then to university and then to, professional career, and now I'm kind of doing a lot more of that, the stress changes. So you have to also experience stress. I think right from the beginning, you have to look at it as each level you reach comes with its own set of stress. But as you look back, that gives you kind of, a template of how far you've come and how your outlook should be towards the forward. So rather than, a quick reference point is always look at how you dealt with things in the past and then look at the task or the obstacles in front of you and then kind of move forward with that. So that's how I'll kind of start it off.
Okay. And I was going to say too, so the way you deal with and cope with and manage in stressful situations, you reflect on it and be like, that didn't really work for me. So now I'm going to try something different, right? We're all just learning and flying by the seat of our pants. Like we don't just get this handbook and it says, okay, so if you have this situation, this is how you deal with it. It's not. A lot of times, we really have to tap in deep into our self-care, and we need to look at what do we do that gives us that ability to just not think about things, or that ability to just kind of clear our minds and move forward, right? So that could be, doing your hobbies. If you like to play video games, if you like to listen to music, if you like to go on walks. Some people like to sleep. Some people need to take a hot bubble bath. Some people like to meditate. There's no limit to what you can do to practice self-care that will in turn help you cope with and manage certain situations or stressful situations. And I feel like the more tools you have, the more things that you can do. When I'm very stressed out, I like to call my friend. I need to debrief. I need to unpack. I cannot move forward if I don't debrief and unpack. But the more things that you learn how to do as you navigate through different stages of your life, the better equipped you will be at handling situations. You could be very stressed out and have a lot of things on the go, but because you know, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to sit, I need to just reflect for 5 minutes, I need a moment to myself, you're going to figure out how to get through those situations.
See, what comes to my mind is I think of stress equals growth. So I'm going to go a little profound here, right? Because it's, I'm the chaplain. I think everyone knows that I kind of make it deeper. When and that comes to mind is that the stresses in life, some of it are, you could say, minor. Some of it is we initiate the stress. So I'm married with, my husband. If he decides to retire, well, not if, there'll be a matter of time when he decides to retire. And let's say we decide to move to Scotland. That's a stressful situation that we initiated. It's going to be hard, but that's something we choose. So there's some stresses that we choose. So for high school students watching this, when you graduate, you're looking forward to university or college or the workforce, or you're going to take a year off and travel or whatever. That's a stress you initiate. Then there's stresses that happen to us that we don't choose. Losing a job, the death of a loved one, anything like that. Like I could, whatever. There's stresses.
Changing careers, picking courses. What do you want to do when you grow up? What courses are you going to take in university? Getting your grades to accomplish and to meet those goals to get into like there's just getting a driver's license.
Yeah, even the example that I thought by now I'd be married with several kids. Well, I met my husband late and we're not having any kids. So there's all sorts of stresses that happen from, and forgive me, but from breaking a nail, which can be stressful because then it's always catching on clothing, to maybe your car doesn't start, to you trip, stub a toe, maybe break an ankle, break an arm, like there's all sorts of stuff. And for high school students, you have the stress of you play sports. And so there's a lot of torn ACLs and, broken bones from, if you play rugby, that sort of thing. So how we deal with the stress that comes with life is to acknowledge that there's going to be stress. Some of it is good, some of it is bad. We're not in control with some of the big stuff. And so we still have to honor the emotions that are going through us when things don't turn out the way we want it to. But then there's the regular stresses that high school students are facing. So I know a common one is everything seems to be due in the same week. You got like 3 tests and an essay and 2 presentations, and it's all in the same week. And I've had so many students say, Miss, why do teachers do that? They don't do it on purpose. It's just sometimes that's just how it works. And we just have to manage. So that's where time management comes in. Knowing that could happen, get a calendar on the wall and have it looming up ahead. Okay, so that week is going to be bad. So what do I do now 6 weeks before all that to prevent me crashing and pulling 5 straight all-nighters? So that sort of thing. Those are the things that come to mind when I hear this question.
So one of the things that I think, putting things into perspective is so important when we're dealing with stress, right? So almost think about it like when you're put in a stressful situation, look at things or even life as an elastic band. You're always being pulled in different directions. And that's the school example Ms.R just kind of gave, right? Some semesters you find that it's a stronger pull for attention, for, work, or just for, how you kind of manage, right? So you're always being pulled. So one of the most important things is that pull is actually physically what's actually happening. Sometimes you're being stretched beyond your limits, right? So when you're finding that whenever you go outside of your boundaries or outside of your comfort zone, that is where the stress happens or things happen that you weren't anticipating. So sometimes it's just reconnecting back to yourself and saying, okay, what what am I losing sometimes if you're staying up extra, doing all this work, right? And I think sometimes it's just going back to the basics. Your nutrition is a very important thing as you're dealing with stress. You have to take care of yourself. Exercise is super important. That's why when you look at life, right? When you come to school, we have a break for lunch. And we also have we have periods that are infused for you to get physical exercise, as well as sporting events or sporting teams for you to get that physical going. Water is important. You have to drink a lot of water, because we know every single day, if you're not getting your water, you're dehydrated. The sun is also very important. You cannot be trying to do all this work and hide it inside and thinking, because if you look at vitamin D and all this stuff, these are all things that are very, very, very important for us. So you have to really look at that. I think, getting yourself enough rest, getting outside and getting air, and just really just trusting at the same time that, you're going to get through this. So those are all things that I want you to think about. When you're dealing with a situation, although it might feel like you're in it, the goal is work and school work alone that you have to focus on. You can't neglect yourself, because it's a vehicle that's going to take you there, which is the body, which is the mind. You have to always kind of focus on those things too, if you want to kind of feel like you have even the energy to get up in the morning and get going. So these are all things that you should keep very mindful, It's not just a mental fight. I'm going to motivate myself. You have to take care of the body, or it's going to fail.
Yes. And when Mr. A says exercise, I always think, the super fit people. You can do 10 or 15 minutes, a couple jumping jacks, running on the spot, some stretching. That's enough.
Or go for a walk to the
it's all about
like, it doesn't have to be, I'm gonna sit in my house and do, it doesn't have to be weights, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be, it could just be like, you know what, I'm gonna go walk my dog for 20 minutes, right? It doesn't have to be
it's all about getting the blood flow. Once you get the blood flowing, right, your body goes into an active mode. The heart rate also starts to increase, and this is all things that affect the brain, right? Because the brain functions and works in regards to your body and how the blood is flowing. So if you want to have that level of awareness, you want to be sharp, these are all things that you want to kind of focus on. Of course, we know how nutrition also affects that. We know how water affects that. We know how the sun affects it. So make sure that as you're going through these stressful events, you take care of yourself. This is why even right now, as we go through the pandemic, right, you have to take care of yourself. You have to get outside and get that vitamin.
Self-care. You have to practice self-care. If you don't listen to your body when it's speaking to you, you're not going to get through these situations easily. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be hard. So you have to always, and the eating, the drinking, the exercise, the sun, the everything that you do, it's all self-care. And you just have to remember that you have to take care of you in all of these times, right?
And if I can qualify the self-care, let's attach self-awareness. So if I'm tired at 2:00 in the afternoon, actually experts say going for another cup of coffee is not actually what's going to keep you alert. Drinking water will, because water makes the blood flow and it's easy. But if you don't have a lot of water in your system, the blood's not going to move so freely. You're going to feel tired and sluggish. So instead of grabbing the caffeine, grab the water, or a herbal tea, or hot water with lemon. Being self-aware. So, if you are tired, or let's say, I don't know, your sibling or mom or dad said something to you and you're reacting quite excessively, that's a good time to pause and say, okay, wait a minute. Why am I reacting so strongly? Wait, how much sleep did I get? What did I eat today? When did I drink enough water today? Doing that kind of self-awareness, body check to say, oh, you know what? Maybe I just need a timeout. Maybe I've been so wrapped up with schoolwork that I'm out of touch with, I just need fresh air, or whatever it is. So self-awareness and self-care go hand in hand. Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Any other final?
No, you have to trust yourself. A lot of times trusting yourself is all about listening to the body, the mind, and being able to kind of find that balance that allows you to get past your obstacles.
So I think I'm coming up with a question for next week, because students have asked this. All right, so we've talked about how to deal with the normal stresses of life, and we've talked about self-care, self-awareness, right? Mind, body, and eating and drinking water and that sort of thing. But I think next week, so we don't normally do a teaser for next week, but here's our teaser for next week. We'll talk about what's the difference between a normal teenage mood and when does it cross over to, oh my God, I need help.
Okay.
So I think we'll talk about that because I think that is on the mind, and I've had teachers say that when we have guest speakers come in talking about mental health, and it's great. We had a couple of years ago, we had someone come in and talk about schizophrenia and living with it, and a lot of teachers said to me afterwards, okay, I'm getting questions from kids that when is it just a normal teenage mood swing and normal life, and when should I actually reach out for that serious help?
Okay.
So we've got a week to think about that, and hopefully you learned something. If you had paper and pen, you jotted down some notes, but it's really stuff we've been saying all along, and it's things you're going to find when you Google, mental health. The stuff we're saying is just really what's already out there. So stay Raider strong. We're Raiders Thrive. We're Raider Nation. Hang in there for another week. And if you're going out I don't know if trick-or-treating is allowed, but if you're doing anything for Halloween, just be safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.